former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton weighing in on the immigration debate. Clinton has been a longtime critic of President Trump's immigration policies, but at the Munich Security Conference over the weekend, she did say she thinks mass migration has gone too far, becoming a disruptive force in the U.S. Here are her comments.
I think we need to call it for what it is.
Secretary
There is
Clinton.
a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people.
Clinton's old comments on immigration resurfaced online. Back in 2018, she accused Trump of cruel abuses at the border and called his immigration enforcement one of the most shameful moments in our history. So many people were surprised to hear these recent comments from the former First Lady, former Secretary of State, and some accused her of switching up her stance. Conservative influencer and lawyer DC Drano says on X, Obama said Democrats need to start cleaning up homeless tent cities. Hillary's now saying mass migration needs to end and we need secure borders. The memo has gone out. Democrats are trying to be moderate for the midterms. And Wall Street Mav writes, Hillary Clinton told her globalist friends today that immigration went too far and is destabilizing. It is not time for Trump to back down on deportations. It's time to double down. Even Democrats are realizing mass migration is very unpopular. Well, I don't know if Democrats overall have realized that, but yeah, Hillary Clinton has. Those were some interesting comments from her. Maybe she's learned something, is what I guess I would say. I think she's learned, maybe she's making a go of it. Maybe she's eyeing 2028
No way.
on a more moderate platform. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I think people are pretending like deportations and, trying to figure out immigration in our country wasn't happening under Democratic leadership for years. People are pretending like the Obama administration didn't deport, I think, the most migrants that came here illegally
Right.
than
But
any
Biden
other
opened the
administration.
border to anyone.
Okay, but we're talking about Hillary Clinton again. You love to point to Biden when there's no other argument. I'm not talking about Biden.
Well, that's the most recent Democratic president.
I was on record criticizing Biden up and down, left and right about immigration.
Okay,
So
5,000 years ago, everything was great.
no, 5,000 years ago?
When Obama was
No,
president.
but these are the people speaking. You don't hear Biden out there like, yes, we need to do A, B, and C.
Yeah, you don't hear
he's
anything
not saying
from Biden.
that. Yeah,
and
well,
that's very telling.
okay, so we're not hearing anything from him.
Yeah,
because
he was not
battling
capable of being
cancer, and
president.
you should have some grace. That's why. Can we reel it back in? Let's reel it back in. So Democrats have always thought about immigration. I think the difference is the part that Obama brought up earlier when we were discussing the homelessness issue. Mm-hmm. Republicans have a strong argument when they continue to talk about the border and how we need to get a handle on things. We saw that with the lack of people that wanted to support Biden and his immigration policies versus when the Trump administration put forth ideas, people supported that. When you get to the immigration and the way it's being handled, most people do not like the aggressive tactics that are being used by the administration. And so trying to actually implement policy that stops people from coming here in an illegal manner is different than treating people inhumanely. And some of the rhetoric and dialogue that's come out of the administration, like labeling full blanket groups of people in disparaging ways, are always inappropriate to me. And that's the huge difference between the rhetoric, I think, between people actually, the Obama administration putting forth policy and deporting people.
Fine. The rhetoric, I agree with you.
Exactly. So that is the biggest difference. But no, also not just the rhetoric. Let me finish. The tactics used by the administration have left 2 American citizens dead, Alex Preddy and Renee Good. So there are actual examples about how when immigration is handled differently, more people are left alive, and there are humane ways to deport people. And there are also a slew of migrants that have come here the quote unquote right way. Plenty of them have been my friends and their families that look at this and say, yes, there is a way and a channel to come to the America, the United States. And it offends them when they see that people didn't come here that way. Exactly. And so I think it's a nuanced conversation, but let's not pretend like Democrats haven't been putting forth policies to try to handle this.
Look, again, I appreciate Hillary Clinton's comments. I agree with them. And they're sensible. We, Americans and even Europeans, are rebelling to some extent against mass migration that has no limits on it, that, yes, destabilizing, the exact words she used were correct. Frankly, Europe has a worse time of it than we do because the kind of waves of immigration they're seeing from the Middle East are, I think, more destabilizing for Europe than the kinds of immigration we are seeing from South America, immigrants who are not as culturally different from us as the immigrants coming into Europe from the Middle East. So neither here nor there. My point is, I think what she said was correct, and that you need to deal with that without being violent and dehumanizing. We all agree. But, here's the important but, and we're going to have the same argument we always have when this topic comes around. That is not the position. The position she took, which is fine, which I agree with. I would vote for that position. That is not the position Democrats in any of these cities or in many of these states take. Their position is there will be no immigration enforcement whatsoever. We will not work for ICE. That's Jacob Frey's approach. That was Tim Walz's approach. So then the enforcement from the administration is clumsy and a little too brutal and got people killed. I don't like it either, and I don't want to see it. But you don't see that in places where the states are collaborating with the federal government to do the kind of common sense immigration enforcement that Hillary Clinton is proposing. So why is it not on Democrats to play ball with that exact message? And then they wouldn't have this problem. And then those people would not have died.
Well, you know what? That's untrue, because I think in Minnesota, as we just saw with Tom Homan saying that they're going to end the operation or only have few ICE officers still in the area, we understand that Governor Walz has come forward and said nothing largely has changed about the way that we cooperate with federal officials in regards to immigration enforcement. The Corrections Department came forward and released statements saying we still will allow and have allowed more than 14 different arrests at our prisons for federal agents to do. So why are they acting like they're asking for names and haven't gotten that from DHS about which criminals did we not hand over to you? We have up to 48 hours to hold them here, and we've done that. Some people are still serving their sentences. We can't release them to you. So what are you complaining about, and why is ICE here again? And then
they're complaining because the Democratic officials said we will not cooperate with ICE on any level.
But the actual policies that were happening, no, Fry is very adamant, and I've been very critical of Fry to continue on with this banter back and forth with the president.
They've been cooperating. That's great. I have no idea.
Governor Walz
I'm
is
not
saying,
on the ground there.
I'm just looking at the numbers because I did a lens on this and I looked into it. The jails are not cooperating. Those are not run by federalies, right? So the jails are saying, we're still in the same position. We're not telling you when people are getting out of here. That's their perspective, right? They're privately owned. The Department of Corrections is saying we have been cooperating and we will continue to.
They're privately administered. They have to follow whatever the law is.
But the point is, like, Minnesota is largely unchanged, and we had this entire operation that really didn't change much, because when I laid out the numbers, only 14% of the people that were arrested were violent criminals, what we were going after. That was the mission, specifically violent in certain ways that the president was naming. And so when we look at this, we're trying to figure out, was this the best strategy forward, or was whatever strategy Obama was using most effective? Why can't we go back to that? Instead of pointing fingers, we can point at the Trump administration and say, why did Obama not have a hard time deporting folks? And why are you leaving Americans dead at the same time trying to deport even less folks?
Right. Obama didn't have a hard time doing it because Democrats didn't fight him tooth and nail when he was trying to do it, right? I mean, I think that's the difference we're getting at.
I mean, we're going to keep going back and forth.
Performative resistance that people like Jacob Fry put up, or at least said, verbalized. Again, I don't know what it was actually going on behind the scenes, but what the words coming out of his mouth are contempt for this idea that Hillary Clinton was just smartly commenting on, and is the reason Democrats have fared so poorly on this issue. Because most of the American people, frankly, a lot of people in Europe, are exactly where Hillary, or somewhere where Hillary is, or even to her right on that, saying, look, this is destabilizing. We just can't have waves after wave of illegal immigrants coming in. We can't do it. We got to do something else. And again, Obama felt that way too, and Hillary Clinton, maybe felt that way or feels that way now, but the people leading the Democratic Party now are actually running things in the cities. They don't say that. Maybe because Jacob Fry is afraid of the immigrant community in the city that helped get him elected, and he doesn't want to offend them. But that's bad for the National Party's brand. Maybe it gets you elected in Minneapolis, but it's not going to elect more Democrats. If they sound more like Hillary Clinton, they will get elected. So,
well, that's the split in the party right now. That's the exact split in the party right now. Do we lean more in like the AOC Bernie Sanders direction, or do we lean more into what the direction that Hillary Clinton seems to be leaning into? I doubt she's going to run again, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'd love to see the old gal throw her name in the ring. That'd be fun to see. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, someone who will be throwing her name out.
You don't know.
Oh, she will be. She disappointed some with her response on a question about China and Taiwan, but I'm disappointed. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.